Harris, right down the middle here.
Hi, my name is Diane, and 38 years ago I moved to Iowa from Massachusetts.
Hi, Diane.
But I want to talk about something else.
Okay.
And it's a point kind of an appreciation for something that you did. 50 years ago this month, on the campus of our alma mater, on the yard in front of Frederick Douglass Hall.
At Howard University.
At Howard University.
Yes.
I first met Elijah Cummings 50 years ago this month. And we knew then at that skinny 18-year-old was committed to the people, was committed to Baltimore. And in the 50 years of friendship with him since then, made last week even harder. But I want to thank you because you were the first public official and the first presidential candidate to put out a statement thanking him for his service, for his commitment, for being the lion that he is, was, and always will be in Congress. And I thought maybe you might want to say something because I appreciated it, and all of my friends from our class did too. So I just wanted to give you a chance to do that.
Thank you. I am sorry for your personal loss. I am sorry for our collective loss. His wife, Elijah Cummings. You know, he was a very proud bison, which is the mascot for our great alma mater, Howard University. And such a special American. And thank you. It is nice to pay tribute to him and to speak his name. I'm actually heading back to D.C. for the funeral. He is someone, he's of that crop of American leaders who really understood what real patriotism means. You know, patriotism, let's talk about that for a moment. Some would define patriotism as you defend your country, whatever it does. And then I think others of us would say true patriotism is fighting for the ideals of your country, right? Knowing what our capacity and what we were born saying we are, and that we must fight for that. And that's what patriotism is, right? It is about knowing and believing in the values and the ideals that were present when we wrote the Constitution of the United States and all of its amendments, and the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights, and those words we spoke in 1776 that we are all and should be treated as equals. And believing in all of that. And also being clear-eyed enough to know that noble as those ideals are, we've not yet achieved them. But the strength of who we are as a nation, if we love our country, is to fight for those ideals. And that's who Elijah Cummings was. So he came out of a time where it was all about fighting for civil rights and marching and shouting and being a voice of courage, being one of the very few voices that was so loud and powerful and eloquent, and in the United States Congress, using that platform in a way that he spoke for the millions of people who could not be there. And he always did it born out of love of country. Like, he never accepted the idea that when you fight for the people and for power for the people, he always knew that that fight was a fight for our country. You know, there are some that would like to suggest that when we are in that fight for the people, that somehow that is subversive. Some people would like to suggest that when we are there marching and shouting, well, that's just a display of something that is rejecting our country. No. In these fights, it is born out of love of country. In these fights, these are fights born out of optimism, knowing what we have the capacity to be. In these fights, these are fights that are not only for the soul of our country, these are fights born out of love of country. And that's the kind of leader Elijah Cummings was. And so are we all. Thank you.